try. All right, so let's do this one, VP100, where you learn how to handle strings. You can edit it with Nano, or you can be using, I'm going to use Colab, so I don't need to create a file. I can just create these little code blocks in this environment, and that'll work. So I set a greeting equal to hello world. I print it. Then this will give me the first 3 letters. This will give me the next 3 letters, and this will give me the last 3 letters. This will find where the first comma is, and this will print it up to that location. So these are useful useful manipulations of strings. So here's the first 3 letters, next 3 letters, last 3 letters, and here it found the comma and printed up to the comma. So you can now pick out parts of a string. So now we're going to make a little program that does some networking. And this is very much the kind of thing you'll see in a lot of capture the flag contests. So what this is going to do is import the socket library, which is the classic Berkeley standard Unix raw sockets. These are what created the internet. These are network connection between machines that became a standard and defined TCP/IP. So it's going to connect to a server, one of my servers with samsclass.info, on this port 10201. It's going to connect, which will do the TCP handshake if you take in your networking, SYN, SYNAC, ACK. That will open a connection to the server. And then it will print whatever the server sends back. And then it will send hello from Python to the server and print whatever comes back. So let's see how it goes. Okay. You connect to the server and it says, hello, what have you to say? I sent it this string and it says, you said hello from Python. So this server just echoes back anything you sent it. All right, and so now there are some flags. You can connect to it on a port and send it goodbye, and then you'll get a flag. Now here, you're going to have to start interpreting the data. It's going to send you back, if you connect to this server on 10203, if we do this here, all right, and just run this, it's going to say your number is 59. Now you have to add 1 to that number and send it back. But instead, I sent hello from Python. So what you'll have to do is take the stuff that came back, and instead of just printing it, you're going to have to put it in a variable, which is a string variable, and then you're going to have to pick out the number here, turn it into an integer, add 1, turn it back into a byte stream, and send it back up. So it's a little bit of effort to get it going. Now you read this, pick out the number, add 1 to it, and send it back to the server. Then you'll get a flag. And so then you might consider loops. You've already talked about this. If you loop for a range of 3, this will go from 0 up to that number, but not including it. So it'll do 0, 1, and 2. You can also have characters in a string. It'll just go through the letters in the string. So first one does 0, 1, 2. Next one does CAT. So now that you know how to make a loop, and you practice sending data to a server and interpreting data that comes back, you can now try this hard challenge, worth quite a lot of points. When you connect to this server, on this port, it's going to send you some numbers. So really, I can still get there with 10204. To get started, all I have to do is change this port number. Okay, but now it's going to say, add these numbers, 7 and 75. And again, I sent hello from Python, so I failed. But what you'll have to do is, it's going to tell you sometimes to add and sometimes to subtract. You have to calculate it and send those numbers, and you have to get it right 5 times in a row, and you have to get it within just a couple of seconds. So you're not going to be able to do it by hand. You're going to have to write a program that does 5 of these back and forth things correctly. And if you get all 5 of them correctly, you'll get a flag. And that takes a while, and there's some hints here to guide you to avoid making the most common mistakes. And then there's ASCII encoding. It's another thing to understand when you're using strings. So here is an ASCII encoding. 1 byte maps to 1 character, but there are some values of bytes that are not legitimate characters. So let's try this. If I set 41, 42, FF, these are hexadecimal values. 41 is a capital A, 42 is a capital B, and FF is not a valid ASCII character. But I put it in quotes, so that's a string. So what I get is, this is A. I think I have to put prints in here to get it to work in this environment. And it looks like the AI is trying to help me, and it's really just getting in the way. There. Now I've got, whoops, it somehow wouldn't go up because the stupid thing was in the way. All right, there. Now I'm going to print those values. There, so it's A, B, and the FF turned into this Y with an umlaut thing, which is kind of screwy. That's an unprintable ASCII character, so what did it turn into? And in fact, if you do it this way, if you encode as a series of bytes and then print out the bytes, you'll see that what it did was, oh, again, I have to add the prints to each of these. Let me just put these in first. All right, then I can put in the prints. Still got it in my clipboard. I don't. All right, let's go up and copy the print. Come on. All right, print, parentheses, copy, paste, 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 paste. All right, now, there. So A is 41, B is 42, and FF turns into C3BF. This would be pretty mysterious. The way I defined it was this way, as the hexadecimal value FF in quotes to treat that as a character in a string, and it turned into C3BF. So what's going on here is it's Unicode. This is the thing that took me a long time to learn because I was used to primitive languages where one byte was just one character because you're using ASCII. But Python and all modern languages use Unicode. So the first 127 possible bytes, all the ones starting with 0, are, I guess there's 128 of them. Those are ASCII characters, and they turn into printable characters. But then, if you put 110 as the first few bits, you're in a category here where you use 2 bytes, and another one you use 3 bytes, another one you use 4 bytes. And so there are about 2 million possible Unicode code points, they call them. And it can encode all sorts of characters. So, a variable length. So you can express it, but you'll notice here, you can use a \U for Unicode. But this thing here, I'm going to put a print in front of each of those. It's pretty painful in this environment, but I have to have the print manually put in. This is not exactly equal to a command line interpreted Python value environment. Where each of these, come on, I click and it doesn't move. There we go. Pretty cumbersome in this environment to do this, actually. If you do it in a command line Python environment, it will be a little less annoying. Now I have to put in a closing parentheses for each of these. All right, there we go. So, now the first one works, but the second one fails. Unicode 41, because you can't decode bytes truncated this. This is telling you, in Python's typical hard-to-understand means, you're only allowed to have the \U if you have all the characters there, 00041. So these ones are all illegal. This one, and this one, and this one. But that one is legal, where you have 3 bytes of 0 in front of it first. So now you get a capital A. So this is a Unicode expressed as a 4-byte sequence after \U, and it's going to actually encode it as 41. The Unicode is going to translate that back into a single byte character because that's appropriate for that kind of character, but it won't let you omit the leading zeros when using the \U syntax in Python. All right, and so that's the game there. And so here you can also express FF this way if you like. And that'll show you these are all going to be illegal, except this one's going to be that Y with an umlaut. And if you encode it, that's actually C3BF. So I don't know why it figures this out. Somehow this is considered a valid way to convert a code point FF, which is encoded as 2 bytes. But that's how it works. Anyway, then there's a couple of flags where you find some characters in Unicode. It has all the commercially important characters in all the languages, plus some funny symbols like hamburgers and stuff, and Greek letters. So, those are facts about strings and a project where you can practice doing them. So I'll stop this.